The Project Organizer and Project Organizer Pro apps are available in the Apple App Store. When you first launch the Project Organizer app, it'll come up with a blank screen with no projects listed. To create a new project, touch the plus key in the upper right and lower left hand corner of the view, and you can enter the name of the project and um, start working with the Project Organizer. This is the rename functionality. You just simply touch the I on that particular project and you can rename any project. Every view in the Project Organizer comes with sort functionality, so you can organize and reprioritize your projects. So if you want to put them in chronological order, you could do something like this, or reverse chronological order. And as soon as you're finished with the edit, you can hit the done key and it'll save the projects. The next time you launch the app, they will come back up in the order in which you prioritize them last. If you no longer wish to have a project, you can simply swipe and delete it. Or you can use the edit key, hit the minus key, and delete the project. So to create a new project, hit the plus key. And done. And if you want to create a couple of projects, you can do so by simply hitting the plus key and entering the name of the project. When the projects first get created, they get created with a number of categories. There's project notes, management status, agile status, client status, another management status report, 2, risks and issues, defects, decisions, minutes of meetings, and change request. I usually keep project notes at the top, and in there you'll find things like the business contacts. I like to have them at the top generally, and you can just put in your team members here and give them full names, obviously. And that's your business contacts or your stakeholders for your project. And your core team members, similarly. You can, I'm just making up a few names here. Now you can, as you can see, you could resort, reorder. If you are using the Agile methodology, you probably might not have level 0 estimates, the level 1 estimates. That's more waterfall oriented. So you could delete those if you wish. You can delete any item that you don't find necessary for your methodology. Now if you are going through the list of project status and you look through the management status and you say, oh, that kind of works for me. That's a good group of items and information. But then you'll go to the management status 2 and you say, well, yeah, that's kind of more waterfall oriented. I don't really use that. You can just go out here and swipe it and delete it. It goes away. In the lower right corner of the Project Organizer app, there's an action key with the box with the upward pointing arrow. If you touch that button, it will create an export from the Project Organizer app that you can then attach to an email and send that to your coworker to share your project information. This can also be used to back up your projects. When the email is received by your coworker, they can simply touch the icon for the attached data file, and it'll be automatically associated with the Project Organizer on their mobile device or the Project Organizer Pro. I'll use the Project Organizer Pro to demonstrate an empty Project Organizer Pro importing the 3 projects that have been created. Now all your project information will be imported into here, and you can see that your core team contacts were copied over automatically, and your business contacts, as well as the other project related information. The items which you had deleted on your app, the level 0 estimate and the level 1 estimate, are no longer there. Now going back to the Project Organizer app, if you don't like any of the status categories, for instance, if you want to rename defects based on your methodology, you could give it a different name. And if you wanted to, say, use other methodologies, like suppose you're agile and you want to create stories for your requirements, you could create a status report called requirements or stories. And under stories, you could then go create stories. So you just click the plus key, give your story a meaningful name, such as reminders. And then every story has a person that's taking the action that they're taking, and the reason for their action. So, as a user of the Project Organizer app, I would like to create a reminder feature so that I do not miss my important deadlines. And then you could create another story, for instance, Spanish as a project organizer app user. I would like to add Spanish language support so that I can collaborate with my associates in Latin America and Spain. So that just gives you 2 examples of 2 stories that you could use to create in here. Now also, if you wanted to put in, say, test cases, these are just some examples of some uses for the Project Organizer app. You could put in a simple test case. There's auto correction. And you could put down, now this field here is for the prompt. So you can put in a prompt there, and you could list out your steps, and it would be open URL. Click on link. Now, if you wanted to, you can also, I want to demonstrate here, there is the capability to dictate your questions and answers into the app. So you could simply touch the record button on the keyboard, steps, colon, and then have it type what you said. Well, that wasn't a good example, but let's try it again. Step 1, enter text to be searched for. New line. Step 2, press the search button. New line. Step 3, drill down on search results and verify text is in search results. So if you're not inclined to actually type, you can just dictate it into the app. Now, if there has some autocorrection here, you could see some corrections that would have been obvious if you were just typing it. You could just enter. I kind of like enter. I want to capitalize that. I'm kind of okay with the rest of the text, except that I would have liked it been one period and that kind of thing. But maybe if I had said one period, it would have typed that. Now, if you want, you can email out your test cases here by simply touching this button for email text. And what that will do is it'll create an email that you send out to your coworkers with a text file attached, and that text file will list out the test cases that you documented. In a format like that. Now also, if you wanted to take your stories and you wanted to send them over to your product owner, you could touch the HTML button and that will create an email, and it'll have an attachment to it that will have an HTML file. And the HTML file, when it's received, has a little bit more formatting on it, so that it's a little more attractive, that you could send out to your product owner. Now, if you had a meeting, for instance, and you were meeting with your stakeholder meeting, and you could, obviously have a date, and you could list out the people that were in your meeting. Then you could talk about what you, so you could talk about the new financial year, backlog, and identify features to be implemented, and review key defects. Now, after you're done, you want to share this, summarize to everybody on the meeting what you talked about. So you can reopen it, and then down in the lower left-hand corner, there's another action button with the box with a little arrow. And if you press that, it'll create formatted notes that you can then send out to your stakeholders or all the attenders of the meeting. And it's got the date in there and most likely the time when you had the meeting. You could adjust that if necessary. One thing I like to do is take the meeting attendees, select that, cut it, actually cut it. I meant to cut, not copy. I'll try that again. Cut, and then I put it up here in the participants area. And then if you assigned any action items, you could give them to your coworkers and tell them that they've got to get it done on a certain date. And then, or actually that's the due date. You could let them start immediately. And you could describe what the action item is. And then send that out. Now all the information that you enter into the project organizer, and actually maybe I should demonstrate that email. So that'll come in email formatted for all your coworkers to read. Looks like you spent a lot of time creating that. And then all the information is searchable. So in the free version, there's a little icon down here with a hourglass, or not hourglass, a magnifying glass. Touch that, and a search box will appear at the top of the screen. Pro version, it's there all the time. And then you can type in the name of some information that you want to look up, and you can quickly search for anything that you want to in your projects. Generally this has about a sub-second response time, even with thousands of records. So that'll help you get to your information very quickly. And also, all this information in here is also available in Spotlight Search. So if you were to search on a keyword, you could simply touch that and get your information directly from the Spotlight search inside of your iPhone or your iPad. So hopefully that covers some of the features that are available in the Project Organizer app. And you can go down and load yourself a copy. And if you've tried it out, tried out the free version, at any time if you want to get at some of the features available only in the Pro version, you can go to the Settings tab and touch the big blue button at the top and upgrade to the Pro version.